Good morning. Good morning, Children's Voices. Would you like to provide public comment today?
Yes, public comment, please. Thanks.
Thank you. You'll have 60 seconds. Good morning. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. You're due.
All right. Tiggy Megleen. Good morning. Would you like to provide public comment today?
I would. Thank you very much.
Would you like to provide comment on any agenda items? Just public comment?
No, just public comment, please.
Thank you.
Public comment. Can I make public comment?
No, you can't.
Damn, you look good.
Thank you.
Shit.
Good morning, Yvonne. Would you like to provide public comment or multiple agenda item this morning?
Let's try to squeeze it all into general public comment.
Okay, thank you. You'll have 60 seconds.
Thank you.
Good morning, Georgina McPhee. Would you like to provide public comment and or multiple agenda commentary this morning?
Yes, please.
Okay, I have you for 60 seconds on general comment, and would you like to provide comment on any agenda items?
Yes, please, on the minutes, and I'd like not to be skipped this time. Friday, you skipped me.
Okay, sorry about that. I'll put you down for 60 minutes for multiple agenda item 2.
60 minutes, that's great.
60 seconds.
Okay, thank you.
Not too nervous. I got enough battery charge. I'll be okay. I better stop.
Good morning, Mr. Anderson. Would you like to provide general public comment this morning?
Yes, I would.
Thank you. And would you like to provide commentary on any agenda items?
No, thank you.
Thank you. You have 60 seconds.
shop, but I know they have a New Year's Eve. Especially, but I believe there's another Christmas one as well before Christmas. So I don't know if it's all the same, but definitely a New Year's Eve one. Because the one at the test center is technically apartment building. So it's so yeah, so I am thinking to stop doing these parades. It's just how many times do you get to like I don't want to hear that they're eventually it doesn't matter whether they do the 5 letter book or choose your rulers, you know, whether your rulers are that you don't care, then A, you have to apply that to everyone, then drop the rules for everyone. Like anyone can do whatever they want. They can just, disregard all the rules. It's fine. It doesn't matter. But that's not, we know that's not happening. Like, we know everyone else is being fined and feed. That's how they come up with it. They could actually, that is interesting.
No, I know. Should I be taking that?
Good morning, Laura FM. Would you like to provide a public commentary this morning?
Yes, please. General public comment.
Thank you.
Announce it at all? I know, I was like searching because I saw the before comments, so I was like on one website, you can look whatever, so then I was like searching. You don't, but nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. Sadly.
Good morning, Mayor Jim. Would you like to provide general public comment this morning?
Yes, general public comment, please.
Thank you. You'll have 60 seconds.
Happy holidays.
Same to you. Okay, I'll be here. I'm gonna hang out.
Good morning, Mary M. King. Would you like to provide general public comment this morning? Mary Ann King. Good morning. Would you like to provide general public comment this morning?
Stuff by winding down anyway, but either they're going to speed up everything because Christmas is over and get all the business done, or they're slowing down because everything else is cut to see. Hartford here today, there's going to be a presentation.
Hello?
Good morning, Laura. Would you like to provide general public comment this morning?
Yes.
Thank you. You'll have 60 seconds.
Yes, thank you. I am a survivor of Scientology, and I'm calling in today.
1 second, we haven't started yet, so.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I'll mute myself and wait. Thank you.
What the? Devin, I need help. Can you help me with this? Thank you.
How did you get to 17
I have no idea.
minutes?
Good morning, Henry. Would you like to provide general public comment this morning?
Good morning. Yes, mark me down for general public comment and multiple agenda item comment, please. Thank you.
Thank you. President Kang, we are now in record mode, ready to begin.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of Public Works for Wednesday, December 3rd, 2025. Mr. Rodriguez, please take roll and establish quorum.
Thank you, President Kang. We will now establish quorum. President Kang, Vice President Chavez, President Pro Tem Grant, Commissioner Faith, Commissioner Mitchell, and Commissioner Cardenas. We have established quorum, and we are joined by City Attorney Thomas Casella Vega as well. And I'm Roman Rodriguez with the Board of Public Works.
Thank you very much. So before we begin with public comment, we have a special board presentation. But before that, I did want to make a short announcement that item number 4, related to 4875 West Ontario Way, will be continued to a date uncertain. We're hoping to schedule it by the end of January of 2026. The applicant has asked for additional time, and also with the holiday schedule, we are trying to get that established. So I know there are folks that have joined us because of item number 4, so we will not be discussing item number 4 today, and we'll be rescheduling that for sometime in January of 2026. And with that, we will go to our special presentation today. It is my honor on behalf of the Board of Public Works and all of us here. We want to recognize and uplift our General Manager and Director of the Bureau of Sanitation, Barbara Romero, who has been with the City of Los Angeles for the past 13 years and 4 years at sanitation. And also, for those of you who are not familiar, also once part of this body as a commissioner with the Board of Public Works. So I want to bring up our esteemed colleague and Director Barbara Romero to the podium, and then any other speakers that wish to speak on behalf of sanitation today.
Morning, John.
Good morning. Good morning, and thank you for this recognition today. It's been an honor of a lifetime. to serve the city. As I reflect back at all the accomplishments, all the impact, what stands out to me is that the people behind it, that in the worst of times has been the best of times, because the city staff are so resilient and surprise you at their strength and commitment to serving the residents of Los Angeles. So those memories I will treasure and have redefined how I will, how I pursue the next chapter of my life. Also, looking at, I came in here at the city thinking that I had already had 20 years of experience, from either working at the Corps to working at the state, that I knew how the city ran. But geez, what a surprise it was for me 13 years ago to really get a sneak peek at and marvel at the complexity of our operations. And that's where I want to thank the frontline staff, because no matter what is happening in the world, no matter what event is happening, our staff, day in and day out, are doing their work, are doing their jobs. And that disruption, whatever's happening, we can count on city staff to deliver the services. Someone is out there picking up someone's trash. Someone is out there doing an inspection. Someone is out there, looking into our sewer system, fixing our sewers, and more importantly, also answering the calls of our residents when they have a question about a bulky item, when they have a question about their bill. And so for that, it's the enterprise behind just the basic services is incredible. And I'm just grateful that I had the privilege to serve along with not only here with sanitation staff, but with the board, and in the different roles that I played, the common theme has always been that, wherever I went across the country, to another, to a foreign country, that what we're doing here, as much as sometimes it feels entrenched that we're not doing enough, it's innovative across the sheer scale of the work we have to do, despite limited budgets, despite our high vacancy rates. The work is getting done regardless. So I just say to everyone here, thank you, and those who are listening, who I know have texted me, and we've had a lot of people who are taking care of some very serious business today, so they couldn't be here. But I want to say thank you to them too, and for their service, and thank you for allowing me to serve as the head of the Bureau of Sanitation and Environment. So thank you very much.
So thank you, Barbara, and sorry to make you go first, but I wanted you to get your speech out of the way so that you can enjoy the rest of your recognition, the parade of folks that want to speak and uplift you this morning. So I want to invite members of the sanitation team to provide some brief remarks related to Barbara and her service with the City of Los Angeles. Anyone would like to speak? Yes. Mr. Kim. And please introduce yourself.
Yes, my name is Hee-Sang Kim, Acting Hyperion Treatment Plant Manager. I met Barbara at Hyperion in July of 2021. July 12th. Yeah, that's true. But and then she visited again that Friday. It was not the best time for Barbara to introduce Hyperion. It was a mess. You probably know there was a spill. Same day, started night before. And then it was time of COVID, the people had to be, quarantined and all that. A lot of purchasing was stopped. So somehow we had to navigate Hyperion out of that turmoil. Barbara was the captain of that ship. She learned and understood much better, and then she understood the so-called, you all heard from me, president and commissioners, Hyperion is a 24/7 facility, cannot shut down. We had to somehow run Hyperion, get out of all the challenges. Looking back, last 4.5 years, without Barbara, I don't think we would be at this moment. I can speak for Hyperion. It's not perfect yet, but much improved. No violations, first time, in this year, for the first time since the incident. In fact, July of 2021, this year, Hyperion had the best effluent quality, discharged out to the ocean in history. That's a good indication. Barbara, I don't think we could do that without you. Just for that, that's one example. I give her full credit for that. Thank you, Barbara.
Thank you. Our next speaker from sanitation.
Thank you, President Kang, commissioners. My name is Nicole Burnson, Assistant Director for Sanitation, External Affairs, and Special Projects. I've had the very good fortune to know Barbara Romero for the last 4.5 years about. She brought me to the department, and it was literally one of the best things that ever happened for my career, for me personally, to feel invigorated by the mission of a department, but also to work with a unique leader, somebody who officiated over a thorough culture change in the department that really was led from the bottom up and really cured relationships that had been embattled previously with labor, among other organizations. So it was a unique privilege to watch that. But over the last couple of days, I had the opportunity to just do kind of a year in review of the things that the department accomplished over the last year. And the list is actually really incredible. But in addition to picking up trash from 600,000 homes every day, serving the wastewater needs of the city, making sure that the stormwater is taken care of and our encampments are cleaned. There were 2 rate actions over the last 2 years, one for sewer and one for trash and multifamily. Those are going to drive hundreds of millions back into the general fund, where they can be better used for services that Angelenos deeply need every day. In addition, some really big hurdles, like getting the Recicla RFP out, putting out the PEIR for plastics reduction in the city of Los Angeles. These are huge legacy items, that are not going to be forgotten anytime soon. In addition, rolling out organic service to the entire city of Los Angeles, including an innovative Organics AI chatbot with Professor Green and the Sort LA app. So it's been a unique pleasure for me to serve with Barbara Romero. I couldn't possibly summarize all of her accomplishments in the time allotted here, but thank you for allowing me to speak today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Barbara. I am Mahesh Pujari. I am the Division Manager for EMD, Environment Monitoring Division. And yesterday I was a meeting, yesterday whole day with the still water agencies for LA River. And I went to the meeting. I hear a lot of good things for you, from Barbara. A lot of people from MRCA came to the meeting, and they kept on telling how Barbara is great. And my ear became very good hearing all those good things. I know Barbara's, I believe 2015, she was sitting in the podium, she was a commissioner, and fantastic. I have a lot of presentation to her. She may not remember, but I remember. And as a sanitation director, I think she has done a wonderful job, a lot of patience, always calm, and she has gone through tremendous responsibilities. Pandemic hit us, and I've observed it, and she has been very calm, no stress, and she fully supported us. Barbara will be greatly missed. You are a really excellent director. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other sanitation? Yes, please.
Thank you so much, President King and commissioners. I'm Tanya Shelton with the Public Affairs Office, and I just want to thank Barbara so much for her leadership, for her collaboration, for putting together media responses with us all hours of the day and night, even holidays, Sundays. She was always there with a very strategic approach to getting those responses back to the media. And she has such a keen ability to bring in the community, and she knows how important community partnerships are, and that has been a critical part of the success of so many of the projects that we undertake. So I'm just so happy to be here and say these words and send you off, but also thank you for being a part of a legacy for sanitation that is unmatched. And also I want to thank her for a really wonderful promotion under her leadership. So thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. Sarai Baga, I'm the CFO for sanitation. I want to thank Barbara for taking a leap of faith when she brought me in 3 years ago and also submitting me to all the torture of having to go through the rate actions for the last 3 years. But I want to go in a different direction with Barbara. When I first came in, I was very hesitant about taking on this challenge because of personal situations. And Barbara can relate. She's very empathetic, and she actually has served as a role model. So for those of us who are single parents, especially single mothers, trying to advance our careers, she is an excellent role model in that respect. And aside from all her leadership gifts, which everybody else has already discussed, I just want to take the time to acknowledge that stepping into these roles as a single parent is epically difficult, and she has mastered it gracefully. So thank you for that.
Good morning. Tracy Menamidi, former Chief Operating Officer for LA Sanitation and Environment. I just wanted to say a very, very big thank you, Barbara, for all of the great years that we had working together. I felt so connected. I felt like we had such a great team under Barbara's leadership. And it was a good match. I mentioned this previously in our last division head meeting about how me being an engineer, I tend to be very black and white. I'm not very good at the analytics of the human, which is Barbara's best strength. She has a very high emotional IQ. She can read a room really well. She can understand people's perspective in an instant, and that really brings this enlightenment in terms of how we should approach things and what the strategy should be. Something that I lack. I don't have that. And so I thought that those years working with Barbara was very, very good learning for me. She's a great mentor. She may not even know it, but all of us learned so much under her leadership. And I do want to say thank you very much, Barbara, for everything.
Good morning,
Commissioners. I personally want to thank Barbara for everything she's done, for not just the Bureau, but for the city as a whole. I had the opportunity to work with Barbara when she was in the mayor's office under all the sustainability plans and some of those far-reaching goals we had that seemed unobtainable, and Barbara made it possible. And her guidance and leadership when it came to managing sanitation was exceptional. I'm a person that kind of has that 24-hour mindset, and Barbara was the person that would respond to me at 1 a.m. with my crazy ideas that let's move forward with that. So she gave a level of dedication that was beyond what was expected. For the staff that she managed, they all appreciated her accessibility, her listening, her kindness, and her ability to say, let's do this together. She worked with, and I represent LATMA also. I'm the president of the union that represents managers and the assistant directors. She was there for everybody to make sure that the partnership with labor was strong, to make sure that we were all on the same page getting this job done. So thank you personally for all that you've done for me, and what a great job she did for the city.
Thank you. Our next speaker from sanitation. Anybody else?
Just real quick, my name is Taranay Nika. I'm an acting division manager, but I want to talk, you've heard a lot about the staff. I started as a lab tech in sanitation almost 18 years ago, and I've never had a director who I actually felt connected to and engaged and cares from all level of the labor force, and someone who just rolls up their sleeve, dives in, and she's not only been a mentor for me, but I'm excited to take her legacy forward. So thank you, Barbara.
Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Alex Halou, Assistant General Manager for LA Sanitation. I have the privilege of being in sanitation for 34 years. So I've seen a lot of changes, a lot of stuff end up, but one of the things that Barbara has is the character. She lets you try, and if you don't succeed, it's fine. And then she takes the blame, unfortunately, for many of the things that maybe the staff thought was a great idea or something didn't happen. So she was never afraid of letting us try. And if we fail, it's fine. She owes it for us. So she takes a lot of stuff. But one thing that really I think people don't see in sanitation, they see the glamour, the stuff, the opening, the grand openings, the pictures. Behind the scenes, there's 3,500 employees. And what yesterday really happened for sanitation was very tragic. And this morning, some of us were out there talking to the employees. And something that came up with several people, how Barbara was like the mother, and she was the one for everybody in sanitation. So although the glamour, shoveling, opening something, it's really her open heart that made everybody feel that they are the one they can come to. And we're gonna miss that of Barbara, but we know, she would soar like an eagle because, she is that type of person. We appreciate everything you've done. We love you, and we're gonna miss you. And we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Hi, I know I'm not with sanitation, but I'm with the Board of Public Works, and I wanted to make a quick shout out to Barbara for everything she's done. Just everyone's said all her accomplishments, but one thing that hasn't been mentioned, I oversee our Clean LA program, and when that came about, Barbara was really the visionary behind that and broke through so many city barriers and hurdles to work with the personnel department and with the unions and with the Board of Public Works and with sanitation to create this pathway for people to get city jobs. Because when she was even back with the mayor's office, I think they saw this need for jobs for folks in public work. So they created this vision to help clean the city and then also provide jobs to people who needed it most. And when I first started working with Barbara and working on this program, the one thing she always kept reiterating and saying that this program was not just changing these people's lives, but it was changing generations and continuing to change the generations of these families and people of this program. And we've been able to see that since we launched in 2021. And even I was recently at the new Young's Market, or at the old Young's Market, the new LSD facility. And we saw people that graduated our Clean LA program that are now working there. and they are just overjoyed to have that opportunity. And that is really all because of Barbara's leadership, because of her vision. And just professionally, I'm so thankful to have got to work with her and learn from her, and personally, just to have a friend now in Barbara. So thank you.
Thank you. And before we invite other folks, I also want to recognize our city's extended family. We have two former president of this body joining us in their current capacity. So I do want to first recognize Deputy Mayor Vahid Khorsand of Community Engagement, a former immediate past president of the Board of Public Works, to make brief remarks.
Thank you, President Kang. Sorry, Kevin. President Kang, are you okay if I turn this around and talk to Barbara directly?
Sure. Of course.
So, Barbara, I did not know this was happening until I walked by and they said, oh, it's Barbara's recognition. So I'm going to wing it a little bit. So I joined the Board of Public Works in 2022. I was a former planning commissioner, just like Barbara was a former planning commissioner, then a public works commissioner. And I was telling Barbara how she is a role model to a lot of people who are coming up in the city. And she looked at me and jokingly said, well, maybe one day you're going to be deputy mayor too. Thank you. I thought it was funny. So over time, I got to work with Barbara, having not worked with her before, just seeing her in action. But I'm not going to talk about the technical things and the career parts because I think folks from sanitation covered that well. I was going to speak more personally about your generosity with onboarding, knowledge sharing, even as the transition time came for on the board and me coming into the presidency, you were very kind in providing advice and guidance. You didn't have to, but you did, and you were a thought partner in helping us figure out what was the best way forward. And of course, I will never forget, as I was considering this opportunity to move over to the deputy mayor role in the mayor's office, it was actually Barbara I had a couple of conversations with, one that went almost over an hour before I actually decided to say yes. And it was your kindness, right? Like, I think Potter said it best. It was not 1 o'clock in the morning, but it was after hours. You didn't have to put that much time into someone who was not coming in to be infrastructure deputy mayor or constituent services, but something different. And it just speaks to who you are as a person when it comes to the city family, and not only your generosity, but how much you respect and value city service and city employees, and how committed you are to not just our individual success, but the success of the entire city family. And that was really touching for me, how generous you were to provide advice, honest advice. Some I took, some I learned I should have taken. But I also wanted to share, because I know some of our infrastructure team is here, including Dion, who was an area rep too. One of the things that stood out for me is when I was still in Public Works and we invited the entire Mayor's Office of Community Engagement to come do a tour of the water plant, Hyperion. And I was surprised that you came to provide the tour. It was that important to you that you understood it wasn't high-level elected officials you give tours to, but you came, you joined us, you gave that advice, and I introduced you as someone who's just done so many great things, that you're such an inspiration and a role model for a lot of people. But the fact that you took the time out of your day to ensure the mayor's office area reps knew about Hyperion, knew about sanitation, knew about the importance of the services provided to ensure that the mayor's office was fully equipped with the information to share. I was just like surprised and a little shocked. I was like, wow, our general manager is coming down here to do this presentation, and she went all out. And that was just Barbara in a nutshell. She would always go to a level 11 even if you didn't ask her to, because she cared so much about what sanitation provided and what people took away from the experience of working with her and her team, and ensuring that everyone was in the best footing to be successful personally and professionally. So Barbara, thank you for everything. Congratulations on a great tenure. Looking forward to see what you do next.
Thank you very much. I also want to recognize our former president, Mr. Kevin James, and want to invite you up to the podium.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, everyone. I mention this every time I come to this room, but I don't get to come often enough anymore that I wanted to just say again. It is always great to be in my favorite room in the entire city of Los Angeles. This room is an incredible place and does great work. And I want to thank Barbara Romero for being such a large, significant, and important part of the history of this room and the work that happens in it. Not just as a member of the board or as a deputy mayor who oversaw our Board of Public Works in this department, but also as the general manager of sanitation. Barbara and I met on July 30th, 2013. It was our very first day for our very first jobs in the city of Los Angeles as city employees. And I knew pretty soon that in Barbara, I had a teacher. I needed, admittedly so, I needed a bit of a crash course in, let's just say, the environmental industry and with the enviros. And Professor Romero is a great person to give that crash course as a colleague. Barbara was a barometer for me. She's someone that I could go in and just kind of run stuff off of. Like, am I going to go down the entirely wrong path here? And sometimes I was about to. But Barbara could see around corners, and she would tell me what I was about to run into. So I took a lot of her advice, and I was always glad I did. Barbara's an idea lab. She's somewhere you can go into her office, you can float your ideas over, as I just mentioned, but a lot of ideas came from the office that Barbara sat in, the corner office at the end of the hallway. That's where a lot of our great ideas from the Board of Public Works during that entire, it was a 9.5-year tenure during that administration. And Barbara was involved in every day of it in one format or another. Barbara was a great partner. She was certainly a partner with the equal roles that we all shared on the Board of Public Works. She was a great supervisor. She went from my colleague to being my supervisor as a deputy mayor. And that was before the pandemic. And it was such a great time then, you know, you could get a lot of work done by walking the halls. And there was always great interest in going into that office, that mayor's office, right across from the press suite. Sometimes you had to be careful, though, because the reporters were hanging around if they were always trying to figure out what one thing was happening or wasn't about to happen. Barbara was an ambassador. She was a great ambassador for the city of Los Angeles. She was an ambassador to the city of Los Angeles for the environmental community. She was ambassador for the Board of Public Works to the public, and a great ambassador for LA Sanitation and Environment. Barbara's a leader. Everyone knows that. I don't need to say anything about that, but I do want to thank Barbara also, in closing, for being just a great friend. Whether we would go and to the Rose Bowl and watch the Bruins together, we have a common reason to not be a big fan of USC. Sorry, Vahid. Whether it was that or just being able to visit with Barbara and her awesome kid, it's been a great run, Barbara. It's been a great friendship. I know it will stay one, but I just wanted to come publicly say thank you. Thank you for everything you did in these 13 years that we've been colleagues. I, like Vahid, look forward to what you're going to do next. I'm sure it will benefit all of us, including the city of Los Angeles. So thank you, and thank you to the Board of Public Works for giving me a few moments. Have a great day.
Thank you very much. I also want to recognize our Deputy Mayor of Infrastructure, representing Mayor Karen Bass, Andrea Green, to the podium for a few remarks.
So I wasn't going to say too much because we have something for you next week, but I was listening to Vahid's comments and several other people's comments, and they were talking about late night phone calls and after hour calls and things like, and I'm like, I thought I was the only one. Like, I feel like we did some of our best work after hours, late night phone calls, 11 o'clock, whenever. But just a funny story that comes to mind. I remember when you came in as deputy mayor, And at that time, I was doing quite a bit of work in the council office related to public works, but especially cleaning. You know, that was like our number one focus to get the district clean. So I would probably characterize my relationship with sanitation at that time as strained. With some folks. And so I was like, well, who's this new deputy mayor coming in? Are they going to be able to help us? Blah. I mean, I was just like beside myself. And Curtis kept saying, no, she's really nice. You're really going to like her. She's going to do great things. She's going to be a great partner for us. Wait till she comes. So once you took position, I kept saying, okay, when can we make an appointment? When can she come? Can she come to the district? And we finally met, had a conversation, and immediately your approach was, what can I do to help? I'm here to be your partner. And over those months, and certainly over the years, you were definitely able to break through that hard exterior that I often sometimes have, to the soft inside. And we became not only, I think, really good colleagues, but good friends as well too. So I just wanted to share over the years how much I have appreciated working with you. You are also my sanitation translator. So when they were telling me something, I didn't know an acronym, I didn't know a process or something, I could always go to you and say, okay, what does this mean? And how does it work together? So to the point about being the teacher, you were definitely very helpful to me in that way. So I know we're going to be continuing to work together just in some different capacity somehow. And we look forward to seeing what you're going to be doing. It really, truly has been a pleasure, Barbara, working with you. I do truly appreciate your partnership, as does the mayor's office and especially our infrastructure team. You have been there every time that we have called upon you. So we really, truly appreciate that. And we'll see you next week very soon.
Thank you very much. I also want to recognize Marco Perez from UCLA, who wanted to make some comments today related to Barbara.
Good morning, President Kang and members of the board. Thanks for allowing me to provide a few words, and I want to say thank you to Kevin for making that reference about UCLA. Go Bruins. Good morning. My name is Marco Perez, and I'm here representing UCLA, Barbara's alma mater, and I'm specifically with the Office of Government and Community Relations. On behalf of UCLA and the entire Bruin community, I want to express heartfelt thank you to Barbara for all her work, for her 13 years of public service to the city of Los Angeles and beyond. Your steadfast leadership helped the city advance wastewater recycling, secure critical infrastructure funding, and engage community input into critical environmental decisions. I must also mention that Barbara was highly instrumental with UCLA in helping us navigate several sanitation issues surrounding the campus. We didn't know who to turn to, and we turned to Barbara, and she was very helpful. At UCLA, also Barbara served on multiple occasions. She served as a guest speaker at symposiums hosted by the UCLA Institute of Environment and Sustainability and the Department of Geography, to name a few. Additionally, during our first sustainable move-out effort 2 years ago, Barbara provided key support and deployed 5 sanitation trucks along with drivers over a 2-weekend period. And that was extremely helpful. Students leave their trash when they move out, but with her help, we were able to mitigate that. UCLA thanks you for everything you've done, your service, your commitment to UCLA and to our city. And at the same time, we wish you the best in your next professional endeavor. And as you take on your next endeavor, please consider UCLA as a resource and a committed community partner ready to help. So we look forward to working with you, Barbara. Please keep in touch, and thank you for everything, and go Bruins.
Thank you very much. And I now want to turn to my fellow commissioners for their remarks. Anyone want to kick us off? Commissioner Cardenas.
Sure. Thank you. Barbara, it's been a very short time since we've known each other, but I think everything that was stated today, it all points to who you are as a person. And thank you for your family for allowing you to work with the city, because I know anytime you do when you're working 24 hours a day, your family is suffering from that. So thank you to your family for allowing them to give us, give you to us. So on behalf of the board and myself, thank you very much for everything you've done with the city for the last 13 years.
Thank you very much. Vice President Chavez.
Barbara, as you choose to close this, I would say, remarkable chapter of your career, because it's just a chapter, I want to express my personal deepest gratitude for your extraordinary leadership, not only in this role, but to the entire city. I first met you when you joined the board of Public Works back in the day, and then later when you were deputy mayor. And when I had the luck to be able to join the board, I was so struck by your openness, and I've heard a lot of the staff today talk about this, your openness and your generosity of heart to share, to be willing to share your knowledge and your experience. And that is not something to take for granted, because it is not a given these days. And I think that willingness to mentor and to support, when you look around here, I see a majority of women leaders in the Bureau. It's one of the many reasons why you are such an exceptional leader. So for all of those years that you've served the city with distinction, you didn't just manage a department. You got to remember that. You reimagined what public service should be, not just in the way that you grew up in the city, but for the people that are coming up that you brought in. And, I think that especially through the challenging times that we as a city have faced recently, and the challenge that you came in, and what do you call it, your baptism by fire or by water when you joined, that has a special significance that I think extends beyond just operationally being a good leader. And I think what is especially important is, as a woman of color leading a department this size, and one of the most important departments in the city, you've broken barriers, and especially in a field that has been historically male dominated. So they're very technical. It's a very technical field, and I think that I think in these fields especially, women have to fight a little bit harder to be heard, to be respected, to be elevated to leadership. And you didn't just succeed in this environment, you excelled in it. And you opened doors and you changed what's possible for the women coming up behind you. So that's the legacy that you leave. And I think it matters not just to the women that you work with, but all of the women that work not only in this field, but in city government. There are young women joining the force, and they have you to look at as an example. Maybe they too can someday lead a 3,000 person billion-dollar infrastructure department. That is a big legacy to leave. So just remember that your presence matters, It continues to matter, and it mattered, and your mentorship and your guidance to not just the women, but obviously the men who have worked day in and day out to make this bureau what it has become. You've shown them that leadership isn't just about fitting into existing molds, but it's about being your authentic self and bringing that every single day. And I think that is your strength, and that is how you've been successful in transforming what leadership looks like. So, I really appreciate all the work that you've done. I think it was mentioned, the labor relations, that was a big, big piece of it. And that will continue to pay dividends far beyond today. And so I think that's really important how you navigated the budget constraints that we're continuing to deal with. And, now you can wake up in the morning and not worry about when it rains. So, Barbara, thank you so much for your service, for your vision, and for your unwavering commitment to the city, and for the example that you've set and the paths that you've cleared for the rest of us. And thank you for your friendship and your guidance. And I am really looking forward to celebrating your next chapter and your career. And I know I don't have to wish you success because I know you will be tremendously successful. So, and we are all better off because of you. And I am grateful to call you my friend.
Thank you very much. President Pro Tem Grant.
Barbara, I'm not going to talk about your skill, intelligence, leadership, because everyone else has. For me, I just have the maximum respect for you. And that respect comes from something that emanates from you, to be poetic, like rays of sunshine, respect for everybody else. You were the first bureau head that I met, and similar to everybody else, you welcomed me, respected my work, respected my appointment, and made me feel comfortable, and even gave me the illusion that I could do something here, could be effective. And the respect that you have for this board. When others can't see beyond the end of their keyboard, you've centered the Board of Public Works and its importance of being democratic and open and have a process that reviews all of the work that everyone does, which has similarly made, I think, all of us feel comfortable and stronger in this position. And then thirdly, what the respect that you have is, and all this has been alluded by others, for those who do the work, whether those be workers that we've contracted out with or those that are city employees. That's reflected in your budget proposals. There's always been several paragraphs about the workers and that how we have to do more for city workers and those we contract with to give them one opportunity, but those who have been part of this workforce, to respect their voice and hear their voice and ensure that their voice is robust and effective. Your first response when a number of issues came before was, oh my God, what do the workers say about this? It's in this job, it's very difficult to sort of not get lost in the bureaucratic process. If I'm putting forward a task or proposal, I want to get that done. And I don't care who's. You had no problem saying, stop. There's an issue with this, with the workers, whether it's contracted out workers or city workers. Stop the process, slow it down. Let's figure it out so we make sure those, not those voices, but in fact, their value, their worth, their dignity has been respected. That has been, for me, a North Star and a reassurance for the work that I do. And I've just so much respect for that and how you've been able to hold on to that amidst of everything else and the horrible cuts that we've all had to face and make deal with. I just want to say so much, as everyone has said, gratitude and respect for the work you've done, and thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Mitchell.
Barbara, we know you such a short time, excuse my voice, but we known you, it seems like a very long time. You've had a very stellar career with the city, And even before you came, you had experience that laid the baseline in terms of your work as a member of the board, as the deputy mayor of infrastructure, and certainly finally as a general manager. You've always been very frank and very open. You've always been respectful and respected. I'm looking at this room. I've never seen that many people in this room, except for when we had to do the extension for Film LA. But in terms of, and most of them I've seen, they're your employees. They're people that worked under you. And sometimes we think, yeah, how do I feel about the head of my agency, so to speak? And so that's very indicative of the respect that you've given them and that they feel for you. You're going to be missed, but I know that the work that you have done is going to go on. And so we are all looking forward to your next chapter. So thank you for your service. Thank you for your friendship and guidance. Take care.
Thank you. So Barbara, on behalf of the board, just want to echo what my fellow commissioners and many of the speakers. I think the room being filled to this capacity, I think is a testament to your leadership. We have from deputy mayors to former president of the board, external partners like UCLA, and many of your staff at sanitation. I think this really exemplifies the 13 years of service that you've spent here with the city. And as many of the commissioners have said, thank you. For me personally, I appreciate Barbara for always being on call, whether she's on vacation, late at night. We spoke several times late at night when there are emergencies happening, right before a big holiday too. And when a council member calls and we have to talk about the issues, you're always available. And I truly, truly appreciate that. And I think that is a big component of what a public servant should be. And thank you for always being available. So on behalf of the board, we would like to present you with a special certificate. And for this photo, why don't we do it right here, since you've been part of this body. So want to bring you up. But then before, want to give you a final moment to speak. Any final thoughts before we take a brief recess?
Thank you. I'm overwhelmed by the appreciation because, as all of you know, I don't do this for this. I do this for the love of the city, and it just reminds me of that. I was telling Tara, I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna put that on my resume. Ooh, I'm like, I'm gonna record these people. I'm like, it's I kind of stumbled on this work, and it's, because I was one of those kids who just wanted to improve my neighborhood. And, hearing everybody, I'm like, who are they talking about? And I think that humility that I have never lost of, the reminder of, where I came from, that I'm still that bright-eyed, girl that had the optimism of a city that can work for people, that works for people. And that has, been the only, at the core of everything that I do. Just reminder of why my parents came to this country and why, I do what I do, that I live by that. So, I just want to say thank you. And I know that I was thinking about, like, I didn't thank my family and especially my son, who has now, understands that mommy has to always work. And yesterday when I picked him up from school and I picked him up on time, he was shocked because I never pick him up on time because there's always an emergency. So I'm, I don't know what the future holds, but I know it is gonna, involve many of you in one capacity or another, because I know that for me, anything that I do, it's going to include working with the city. I know that. So I guess till next time, and thank you to my son again for sharing his time with all of you, and with all my work family. As I always say, we do spend more time with our work family a lot of times than our our real family. So thanks again.
Thank you. So Barbara, will you join us here, up here for your certificate, and then we'll take a brief 10-minute recess. The time now is at 10:56 a.m. And then afterwards, we can do a group photo in the back. Sanitation and MOI, if you want to join us in the back for a group photo.
time, Madam Clerk. You've violated Council Rule 7. This is the only warning that you'll get. That's the only warning that you're going to get. You're disrupting the meeting, so you'll not speak while I'm speaking. I'm not disrupting the meeting. I still have 1 second on Mr. City Attorney?
Speaker, the time is currently paused, so it's not your opportunity to speak. And it is disruptive to interrupt the council president or any councilman.
Thank you, Mr.
Sorry,
Chair.
Mr. President.
You have 1 second left.
Cunt.
President Kang, we are now resuming record mode.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rodriguez. Please take roll and reestablish quorum.
We have President Kang, Vice President Chavez, President Pro Tem Grant, Commissioner Mitchell, and Commissioner Cardenas. We have quorum.
Thank you very much. Welcome back, everybody. We will get started with general public comment, which is an opportunity for the public to address the board on public interest items and will be provided up to 1 minute per person, up to a cumulative total of 10 minutes for the general public comment segment of each regular meeting. Testimony shall be limited in content to subject matters which are within the jurisdiction of the Board of Public Works. The board may not take any action on any matters discussed during the public comment period. And as I mentioned earlier, item number 4 related to Ontario Way will be continued to a date uncertain in January of 2026. With that, we will begin with in-person general public comment speakers. Audit LA.
Good morning. I just want to remind you, I believe I sent you all an email because I like to do that every now and then to keep you updated on what's going on. But on L. Ron Hubbard Way, there's like 25-foot towers on the public easement. And then there's like some kind of structure going across over the street, lit up. It's all for their Christmas, I guess, decorations. Plugs going in and out of all kinds of buildings. I honestly, like, if there is a permit or permission or they're allowed to do this, I need, tell me and I will shut up on the matter, on this fact. But if it's not, I'm asking you to please send inspectors. Please make sure it's safe. I am not, I'm against what Scientology is doing. I'm against a lot of what, but I'm not against the people. I'm actually an advocate, not only for the former Scientologists, but I care about the people in these buildings that are not getting the proper anything because of the, the leadership and everything that Scientology is doing. So these people need to be safe, okay? They need open fire lanes. They need, like I am asking you to please follow up on, everything I presented with the most previous incidences. It's illegal. There's no way this stuff is legal. They're not only violating the law, they're violating your rules. And so why reward them? I'm begging you not to give them any more permits. I don't care if it's New Year's and we want to say, oh, they have a right to celebrate New Year's. Not if they don't abide by the law or the rules. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next up, we have Mr. Herman.
Me, bro. Badass motherfucker. Nigga with attitude. When are you gonna fix the fucking ramps and sidewalks up the LA Times building? 200 West 1st Street, motherfucker, and Broadway. Until someone slips and falls, until some fucking bitch collapses there on a wheelchair or in a cane or in a walker. What the fuck? It's an ADA issue. It's a liability. The city of Los Angeles versus Armando Herman, Barden versus Sacramento. Fuck you. Do your job, Mayor. Do your job, Department of Bureau of Street Services. All it takes is a 50-pound fucking bag of Level Quick, 30-minute dry up, and it's fixed. Because that fucking building can't sell for shit. Fucking dirty niggers. Fuck you.
Thank you. We have two more, Connie Acosta. And then we have Ty Foreman.
Did you turn? Okay. Okay. I'm Connie Acosta, member of the Ontario Hillside Alliance, and I am speaking as an individual. On this commission's need for improvement in the area of allowing appeals by developers to continue to postpone their hearing date multiple times because the developer is not ready with the materials that might make their project valid. The same developer has had a long history, according to city planning records, of non-compliance with city requests, processes, and regulations. 1 or 2 postponements may raise an eyebrow, but 3, 4, or more postponements are year management questions, commissioners.
Thank you very much. Next speaker, Ty Foreman.
Yes, thank you guys for having me. Hopefully this will be an ongoing discussion. I'm super excited to be here. This is, pleasure for me. Former George Mason University student in politics and international relations. What I wanted to address Public Works about two things. One has to do with Breathe LA. To my understanding, currently, the organization is defunct, and I believe that I can bring the attention to provide some vivification, some animation, some life to it. And I know that this isn't going to happen in one bound, but Public Works to consider cooperating with Breathe LA in an effort to create a clean air purification active air defense system in one of the nation's most polluted cities, and to ensure that the loss of life during COVID-19 can never happen.
Thank you. That's time.
Thank you very much.
President King, that concludes general public comment in person.
All right, let's transition to our virtual platform.
Okay, and we will start with Children's Voices Matter. You have 1 minute.
Greetings all. Thank you for letting me speak. I wanted to say that I support what Audit LA was saying regarding the blue building on L. Ron Hubbard Way. I'm afraid it might be a matchbox. Today, I wanted to reiterate how racist L. Ron Hubbard was. According to Indy Bay, he said South African tribes were from the Bugas tribe. If Leconte, the racist street, could be rescinded, so can L. Ron Hubbard Way, built with child and adult slave labor. Maybe we can start a petition. As for there being no minutes recording these meetings, it feels as if you are taking our voices away, just as the children of Scientology, past and present, have had done to them. Thank you. I yield back my time.
Thank you very much. T.E. McLean, you have 60 seconds.
Good morning, all. Well, another day, another cult breaking the city rules and ordinances. There's no record that I can locate showing any signs of a permit or safety inspection for the big fraud of a winter wonderland in the Scientology parking lot on Hollywood Boulevard. Also, I would like to bring up the previous event that happened on L. Ron Hubbard Way recently, where the entire street was blocked by a stage, no fire lane, as well as blocking all access to the public sidewalk using City of Los Angeles holding street closure signs in order to give the impression the city allowed their illegal blockades. This raises another issue. Permit states that these are charged at a rate of $35 a day. Scientology has been in possession of about 20 of these for several years. Even at a minimum, that's fines of approximately $700 a day, equating to $255,500 a year. Scientology owes you for keeping these in their possessions. Justice for the kids. I yield back my time.
That's time. Thank you. And now we'll move over to Yvonne. You have 1 minute.
Thank you. On December 13th, Scientology will be having their Shriners event in the guise of a New Year's celebration, where they will be shooting a film that will be processed and sent out to coerce their membership into making more and more donations. That permit is on file. They abused that permit last year by closing the street earlier than allowed and closed it to pedestrians, which was not part of the conditional use permit or the street services permit. The following dates, December 21st and December 1 through 5, or January 1 through 5, are also going to be events on LRH or at the 4810 Sunset Boulevard. Please deny those permits based on the fact that they have not been.
And we will move over to Georgina.
Thank you. I'm calling in about the abuses of the R permit for Charles Manson Way. Oh, wait. It's the other cult leader, Reverend Sun Young Moon Way. No, wait a minute. It's L. Ron Hubbard Way. Why do we have a street named after a cult? Even if you don't think it's a cult, even if you just think it's religion, why don't we have an exemption for that? I mean, what happened to separation of church and state? This is ridiculous that we have a street named after a cult leader. They stole that street. They're abusing the rights to the neighborhood of that street to be used. Separation of church and state. Separation of church and state. I yield back my time.
Thank you. And now we will move over to Mr. Anderson. You have 1 minute.
Thank you. Citing LMC Section 4120, closure of streets, the Board of Public Works shall establish a one-stop special events permit office in the Bureau of Street Services for the issuance of all special permits. At the end of that paragraph, it states the director of the Bureau of Street Services has the authority to revoke a special events permit for any violation of the terms and conditions of the permit. What are those conditions and what are those terms that could be violated? Could that include perhaps a Bain Act violation, which I've witnessed at least 3 of these occur, to wit Audit LA, who's in your presence now. A Bain Act violation is when someone, California Civil Code 52.1 forbids people from interfering with the person's constitutional rights by force or threat. In addition, a Latino woman was walking the sidewalk and was assaulted by the hired armed security from that organization. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Moving over to Laura FM.
Hi, good morning, Board, Public Works. Hi, President Kang. Again, Mitchell, everybody, I know you know who I am now. I'm going to keep reiterating this. Please do something about Scientology's permits. When does it stop? When does somebody go, hey, they asked for the New Year's permit. Hey, we're not letting you get it anymore. Prove to us why we in the neighborhood are allowing this cult human slave organization to continue put on permits that allow slave labor, literally are run by Sea Org members who only make less than $47 a week. How is this legal? They are building stuff on the parking lots. How is that legal? How is it legal that they have these huge structures for Winter Wonderland with L. Ron Hubbard's cult name right below it? This is where families and everybody who have religious beliefs and are not manipulating the city have an issue with this. This is illegal. You guys are the front door. You're allowing this illegal human traffic behavior to happen because you allow the permits. Why give them any more
That's
permits?
time.
We've
Thank
been here
you.
for...
Moving over to Mirjam. You have 1 minute.
Good morning. As you probably have figured out by now, the Scientology is a multifaceted issue, and I also acknowledge that the Board of Public Works has a very limited authority when it comes to supervising the cult's actions. However, I do think you should look into these structures that Audit LA, LRFM, and numerous others have mentioned before, because everything has been set up and built by Scientology slave labor, the Sea Organization members, the people who are not getting more than $40 a week and no days off during the year. They are not educated or equipped to do this kind of work. If the Scientology would actually hire professional workforce, that would actually create some tax income to the city as well. Something to be thought about instead of using their over 1,000 slave labor people in California. I yield back
Thank
my
you.
time.
That's time. Moving on to Nora. You have 60 seconds.
Thank you. I just want to drop a couple facts. Number one, Scientology
does not celebrate any recognized holiday. Christmas does not exist in Scientology. In fact, L. Ron Hubbard told his adherents that he is Lucifer and that Jesus, who we are celebrating at Christmas, his birth, is a pedophile. And that is what the adherents of Scientology believe. Also, they believe that Jesus is fake and that you are implanted with that idea on the dark side of the moon at an implant station before you are thrust back into a child body at birth. So no permits for them should be granted. They should not be able to usurp another celebration from a recognized religion to embark on further conning their indentured servants and their cult members. Secondly, the signs along L. Ron Hubbard Way were illegally printed inside their organization with professional equipment. They are not issued by the...
Thank you, Nora. That's time.
Please...
And we have one more. Henry, are you still in the room? If you are, I don't see your name on here, but if you're on the phone number, you could dial *9 to raise your hand, and then I'll unmute you. Okay, I don't see any other hands raised. That concludes our public comment on the virtual platform.
Thank you very much. With that, we will close general public comment portion of today's meeting and move forward with multiple agenda item public comment. The board will provide an opportunity for members of the public wishing to speak on more than one agenda item during multiple agenda item comment period for up to a minute per item, up to a total of 3 minutes per meeting. This is the only time to speak on more than one agenda item, and please identify the items that you will speak on when you are called. We will begin with Audit LA.
Thank you again. I want to start off with the presentation. I want to congratulate Barbara. She sounds amazing. And the only thing I was thinking, basically hearing all the accolades, is, wow, I wish we had her in Bureau of Street Services and with the permits. And I have a feeling that we wouldn't even be at these meetings anymore. It'd probably be fixed, you know, because I know it's not just, you know, the commission. I know I agree with Miriam, there's limitations, but you know, but the people who are granting the permits, they have the power not to. I don't even know if you have the authority to tell them not to do it. I'm not sure. I'm still learning and looking into all this stuff. I do appreciate that you all listen, and I know you're hearing us, and there's been some leeway, but there really needs to be a grip on this. And that kind of leads me to the minutes. It's, you know, I know you're doing what's legally allowable, but I think that other departments kind of lead the way there in showing, you know, what should be done, even at minimum, even if you don't want to, you know, have the name Scientology all over your minutes, you know, I can understand that. But you can maybe just do briefly that, well, these are the things, you know, like, well, there's towers that don't seem to be permitted, or, you know, things that if you're, you know, kind of want to slowly kind of get used to putting minutes about what the concerns are. And there's other concerns here that had nothing to do with Scientology, and they're not going to be reflected either. I think that it's failing the archives and the historical nature of it to not have it. The next thing I want to talk about is the neighborhood councils. Not only have I said please encourage them to speak. Sometimes the meetings, you know, like it comes up too quick, they can't really meet. But I also want to remind you that with your permit processes for all these permits, they are required to reach out to the neighborhood councils to let them know of every impending permit that's coming. But Scientology is, they put in their permits lately last minute, and even prior to that, because I've checked, they do not notify, neither does the Bureau of Street Services. I think it's actually the Bureau who's supposed to be doing it. They're not. And I know East Hollywood Neighborhood Council has, you know, when we told them about that, they did say, well, they didn't even know that they had that right, that it's supposed to be doing this. Neither did other councils I've asked. They don't know that you are required to do it. And so there's a huge disconnect. I will be forever an advocate of the neighborhood council system, as I have, sat on them. Of course, I had to leave because I'm being slandered and harassed by Scientology, and I don't want any councils to be harassed because I decide to stand up for victims. I mean, yeah, it'd be much easier for me to just shut up and go live my life, but I can't do that. Laura, Nora, the last speaker there, they're all my friends, and I can't turn a blind eye, and I refuse to. So if I have to be attacked and maligned, so be it. But thank you.
Thank you very much. We have Mr. Herman.
Crazy ass motherfuckers, right? Barbara Romero, the director of general manager, is a cunt. Does she know anything about plumbing? Do any of you know how to change a trap? Do you know how to pull a trap apart and run a snake? You fucking snakes. Huh, Nancy? What about this goddamn CD Heather Hutt? Fuck bicycle lanes when you can't even fix the motherfucking sidewalk for a ramp for individuals with disability and the non-disabled public. Fuck you. 200 West 1st Street and Broadway. There's the information there. Use the fucking pictures. It's an exhibit of 4. Someone tell this asshole attorney to pass it around to you so you can see what the fuck I'm talking about. Not like that Peter Thomas asshole, criminal, who lost his bar license, jackass, moron, incompetent idiot. Then you got that nigga, Curran Price Jr., on item 2 regarding what? Tetra Tech? Fuck Curran Price. He has 12 criminal indictments against him. He shouldn't be doing any business for the public. His wife stole housing from black people, brown people, and white people, and us fucking Japs. Then, on the other one in CD11, fuck Tracy Beach Park. And the other one regarding Jezebel in CD14. Don't you fucking people get it? We brought the FBI to investigate Jose Luis Huizar. What do you think the FBI is doing with Ms. Gerardo's staff? The one that attacked an ICE agent. That's fucked up, right? You don't attack your federal government. You don't attack your local police. You protect America, motherfuckers. Donald J. Trump saved Los Angeles. What are you going to do? Allow those fucking criminals, Scientology and Robert Hubbard, to keep their fucking street? It's not theirs. It's mine. My fucking sidewalk, my fucking street. Right, Cardenas? I'm disabled. That's my fucking sidewalk, my fucking street. Right, John? I pay taxes, right, Mitchell? I pay taxes. My fucking property. You get it, Kang? Chavez don't give a fuck. All she cares about is those 2 little dummy kids of hers. But someone should fucking care.
Speaker, please stick to the agenda items.
Fuck you.
Thank you very much. I was going to ask you, I know you indicated general public comment, but this is for multiple, and you have to speak directly to the items. Which items would you like to speak on?
Bike lanes. I don't.
There are no.
On the agenda item.
That's a multiple he's talking about.
It's number 1. BPW 2025-0763.
Okay. So you have 60 seconds.
Okay. It's going to be quick. It's more of ways and means, but in regards to the construction of this bike path, bike lanes, what I really want the commission to take into consideration is the articulation of the financing of these bike lanes. I really want to see a little bit more advocacy for an alternative schedule of financing, one that is not going to incur fiscal correction or constraint, where something that is a little bit more creative and sustainable, in all honesty, can be held, and I'll leave it there. Sustainability.
Thank you very much. Mr. Rodriguez, let's transition to our virtual platform.
Okay, and we are moving on to Georgina McPhee. Please identify which items you'd like to speak on.
I want to speak on minutes and agenda item number 1.
You have 2 minutes.
Yeah, the minutes need to reflect these call-ins so that the violations of the permits get reported and recorded. We call in week after week reporting these permit violations. They have a street named after a cult leader that they block off and deny access to the public. It needs to be opened up for street parking. Bike lanes, this is on to agenda item number 1. Bike lanes should be on that street. It should be accessible at all times to the public, either as bike lanes, parking, the sidewalk needs to be opened. They keep violating these permits time and time again, and you do nothing because it's not reflected in the minutes. It needs to be opened up to the people. The fact that they're able to sign up for these permits last minute and pay just a tiny little fee, which means nothing to them, is what is allowing them to get away with this. You need to close this loophole. You need to do better by the minutes and use Granicus and have it reported. And Tori Magoo is trying to raise her hand and speak. Please call on her. Thank you. I yield back my time.
Thank you. President Kang, we have one more hand raised.
Yes, please.
Hi, Tori. Would you like to speak on an agenda item? Tori Chrisman, would you unmute yourself and clarify if you'd like to speak on an agenda item? One more time, Tori.
All right, since we're having technical difficulties, we'll move forward. Mr. Rodriguez, do we have any other virtual speakers?
Laura
hear me?
FM. Okay, one sec. Go. Tori, can you identify what number you'd like to, what item you'd like to speak on?
I want to talk on L. Ron Hubbard Way and about the permits. Okay, I was in Scientology for 30 years.
Speaker, general public comment has closed, and we are doing specific multiple item. So you would need to identify which items you would like to speak on.
Okay, I said L. Ron Hubbard Way because I went down and got the judge to turn the
Apologies,
window.
L. Ron Hubbard Way is not on the item, so we'll move forward. Please come back to us at our next meeting for general public comment. Mr. Rodriguez, do we have any other speakers?
Yes, we have Laura FM. Would you identify what item you'd like to speak on?
Yes, the minutes and number 1 as well regarding the bike lanes and all that. But definitely the minutes is my main point, and I think you guys
2
know.
minutes.
Okay, so we need to have on the minutes in some way, shape, or form reflecting that people are calling in about the abuses of Scientology's permits. Tori Christmas, she literally was in the Sea Organization for in Scientology running all this shit with the judges and everything 30 years ago plus. So I really wish you would have let her speak. Hopefully she can make it in person or on the phone to the next one. But to allow the minutes to reflect that we are trying so hard to prove to you guys that this is so insane and illegal what Scientology is doing with the permits. And that needs to reflect in the minutes. It needs to be seen that Tori just tried to call in and speak about this. Everything needs to be shown, at least one sentence. You know, Laura FM called in, wants revocation of Scientology's L. Ron Hubbard permit. Make it happen. Otherwise, you, the board members, it feels like you aren't doing anything. And you have the power to do everything. So please reflect that in the minutes. Reflect that this is a huge situation that people have been talking about for the last year and a half. I'll yield my time.
Thank you. I see no more hands raised. That concludes a multiple item commentary on virtual platform.
Thank you very much. With that, we will close the multiple item public comment portion of today's meeting and move forward with the approval of minutes for Friday, November 21st, 2025. Commissioners, any questions or comments? Seeing none, is there a first and a second?
So moved.
Second.
First by President Pro Tem Grant, seconded by Commissioner Cardenas.
Then we will take a vote. We have a first by President Pro Tem Grant and a second by Commissioner Cardenas. And we'll start with President Kang.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
Commissioner Mitchell. And Commissioner Cardenas.
Aye.
All ayes. Item is approved.
Thank you very much. Moving on to our agenda items. Item number 1, which is on consent for Council District 10, advertising for the invitation of bids for the bicycle-friendly streets. I'll move. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Cardenas.
So we have a first by President Kang and a second by Commissioner Cardenas. And we will now take the vote. President Kang.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
Commissioner Mitchell. And Commissioner Cardenas.
Aye.
Item is adopted and approved and carries forward.
Thank you very much. Moving on to item number 2 from the Bureau of Sanitation for all council district, TOS S-041 Tetra Tech.
Good morning, President Kang, members of the board. It's nice to be back in person and see everybody. It was a very nice ceremony for Barbara. She'll be definitely missed by all of us. So I'm Miller Zoe. I'm the Acting Assistant Division Manager in the Watershed Protection Division, and our primary responsibility is compliance with state, federal, and local stormwater regulations, and that primarily takes the form of our regional countywide stormwater permit, which we call the MS4 permit, which does have quite a bit of extensive monitoring requirements in it. Just to set up the presentation. I'm here today with the project manager for my team, Kim Tran, senior chemist, to request authority to issue notice of award to Tetra Tech for TOS 041 to approve the budget in terms of engagement. So this TOS provides technical support for data management analysis tools, which primarily includes a centralized database to manage the large amounts of water quality data we collect, manage, and report under our various watershed monitoring programs. This TOS falls under the LA SAN on-call parent contract for planning and technical support services. The requested budget is $690,000, which does include a 15% contingency, and the term of engagement is 3 years from the notice to proceed date with an optional 12-month extension. So funding for this TOS is split 50-50. Half of the funding will come from the Stormwater Pollution Abatement Fund, and the other half will come from the Sewer Operation and Maintenance Fund. So there's 4 main tasks under this TOS. I'll just provide a brief high-level overview, and we can answer any more detailed questions if there are any. So the first one is the water quality database systems for the maintenance and enhancements of our current database systems. There's a desktop application, there's a web-based interface, and there's also a mobile application for field staff to record observations as well as take photos, and all of it gets synced up together nicely, which is nice for operations. Part of that, we will also need to migrate a lot of historical data from the past 15 or so years onto the new platform. Task 2 would be development of data analysis and reporting tools, including things like visual dashboards to display sampling sites and monitoring results, as well as analysis of exceedances of our water quality objectives. Third task would just be acquisition of any specialized equipment we may need for the database. And then the final task is just general support for staff training and SOPs and documentation and things of that sort. So for this task, we selected Tetra Tech as the prime consultant. As demonstrated in the proposal as well, Tetra Tech has decades of experience in database and application development, and they also have direct experience supporting LA Sands monitoring and reporting programs as the original developer of our database system. Additionally, out of the 3 proposals we received, Tetra Tech was the only firm to include subconsultant firms, which consists of 3 firms to provide support for both software and programming tasks, as well as water quality compliance and regulations, so that we can fully carry out the scope of work in a more robust manner. So that's most of it. Adopting this task ensures that LA Sand and Watershed Protection can continue to effectively fulfill its core stormwater permit reporting responsibilities and ensure LA Sand's ability to generate high-quality data used to inform and protect our water bodies. The city is currently leading 4 major watershed management groups and performing the monitoring on behalf and data reporting on behalf of 29 partner agencies, who then subsequently reimburse us through cost-sharing agreements, and this task will go a long way towards helping us be able to continue that work. So that's it. Thank you for your time, and we're happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. Commissioners, any questions or comments related to item number 2? And just a clarification, the other, as you mentioned, the other proposals did not have any subconsultants.
Yes, that's right.
Only Tetra Tech had it, right? Perfect. Thank you very much. Any last minute questions or comments? Seeing none, is there a first and a second?
Second.
First by Commissioner Mitchell, seconded by President Pro Tem Grant.
Thank you, President Kang. So we have a first by Commissioner Mitchell and a second by President Pro Tem Grant. And now we will take vote. President Kang?
Aye.
Vice President Chavez?
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant?
Aye.
Commissioner Mitchell? And Commissioner Cardenas?
Aye.
All ayes. Report is adopted and carries forward.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Moving on to item number 3 from the Bureau of Street Services for Council District 11, tree removal at Los Angeles World Airports.
Good morning, Honorable Board of Public Works, Commissioners. Streets LA is bringing before you a request for a board approval for a permit to remove 45 street trees relative to the Los Angeles World Airports Airfield Terminal Modernization Project. The trees are being removed to accommodate roadway improvements and utility relocation, and they consist of 19 palm trees and 26 street trees as well. So as a little bit of context to the project as a whole, the Los Angeles World Airports ATMP project consists of several primary elements to upgrade the passenger processing capabilities and enhance the passenger experience, and an improved system of roadways to better access the central terminal area, or that horseshoe at LAX. ATMP roadway improvement project proposes to implement airfield, terminal, and landside roadway improvements at LAX as part of LAWA's continuing commitment to maintain LAX as a world-class airport and reduce the traffic congestion leading up to that drop-off zone there. LAWA is executing the project in multiple phases. So alongside these phases, LAWA is also performing utility relocation and temporary roadway construction to facilitate continued service and access throughout the construction period. I'll get into the particulars, but there will be a temporary roadway widening that needs to take place. given the construction taking place, to allow that flow to still continue through into the access to the terminals there. So as part of the overall utility relocation and roadway improvements, 11 trees along the south side of 96th Street, west side of Vicksburg Avenue, and alongside the 98th Street, which include these 11 trees. These 11 trees will be impacted, and then there's 34 trees that will be impacted by elevation changes to the project, elevated roadways across and along Century Boulevard that will impact these trees. The LAWA Construction Relations, we have some of the staff here. They've conducted outreach related to the project. They've reached out to the community relative to the tree removals. And they've had several meetings, including open houses, to ensure that community engagement is there, making the community aware of the project. The Streets LA arborists inspected the site in September 2025 and confirmed that these trees are located directly adjacent to the LAWA project and will be severely impacted, which is why the recommendation for removal is being brought before you. The 45 trees that were identified, just to get into the particulars of the trees themselves, again, are 19 palm trees and 26 trees. The trees are in poor to good condition, and they measure 8 to 26 inches in diameter by 20 to 50 feet in height. And the palm trees being impacted measure 24 to 36 inches in diameter by 12 to 70 feet in height. The Streets LA staff recommends that the board approve the removal of these 45 street trees and palms for the construction to be completed for this project. Getting into the conditions, if this removal request is approved, the applicant shall plant a total of 90 replacement trees along the public right-of-way. And this, the actual specific tree species and locations, the exact locations will be specified on the design plan submitted to Streets LA for review and approval. And the replacements shall occur immediately after the curbs and gutters and sidewalks are installed, ensuring that trees are planted back on site as soon as possible. As for the CEQA for this project, there was an environmental impact report that was adopted by the Los Angeles World Airports through its Board of Airport Commissioners, and the Streets LA determined that the project EIR properly addressed all the tree removals that are now being proposed for removal. As it relates to the notifications, the Streets LA did notify the 11th Council District. I do want to mention in transmittal number 4, there was a consent letter by the council office in support of the tree removals and the project as a whole. So there was no opposition from their office. There was also public notification. Trees were physically posted on site, notifying the public of the trees to be removed and the hearing date. And the removals were also included in notification system and our website to inform the public. With this, I conclude my presentation, and I'm happy to take any questions that the board may have.
Thank you very much. With that, commissioners, any questions or comments? I'm happy to kick it off. Related to LAWA's commitment to develop and fund a 3-year landscape establishment plan, does that include potential new trees that do not survive during that 3-year period? Will LAWA be responsible for replanting those trees in those areas?
Absolutely. And I can contest, I can attest to the fact that this project has been going on for multiple phases. There has been replacements in the past, and I will say LAWA is very good about replacing the trees. If they, for some reason, fail to establish, they do replace those trees in kind.
All right. Commissioners, any other questions or comments?
One.
Commissioner Cardenas.
So 45 trees and the replacements 2 to 1? So
2 to 1, correct.
2 to 1. And are the palm trees going to be replaced with palm trees? Is that the plan, or is that has not been specified yet?
It's not yet specified. There is a master plan for all the planting across the multiple phases of the project. Within the report, I didn't verbally mention it, but it does mention that Replacement plan is a living document that's progressively updated with each tree removal application. So as the different design elements get adopted, the Bureau reviews the plans, and we work with our with our engineering services division to ensure that whatever trees are planted is consistent with our tree spacing guidelines or species selection, and they're selected at that time.
Thank you.
And do we know the size yet either?
They are 24-inch box-size trees. Again, with my experience with the project, there's been, it depends. I've seen some 36-inch box-size trees be planted. Palm trees have also been planted, but it's just site-specific. So minimum 24-inch box-size trees for this project.
And then last question on my end, will the public have an opportunity to weigh in on the type of trees, or will that be kind of be determined by LAWA?
LAWA can propose. Again, the actual species selection is taken on by the Bureau or Urban Forestry in coordination with the Engineering Services Division within our same bureau. So we direct the species selection. But if the Bureau did receive any input from the public, definitely we would consider it, ensuring that we are planting the right tree in the right place. Obviously, we would like to plant native species wherever possible. And again, going back to what the project has already planted, there's been a lot of desert willow trees, native trees. Whenever the space is appropriate, we do adopt those native trees as well.
Okay, Commissioner Cardenas.
So when you say native trees, correct me if I'm wrong, palm trees aren't native to here, to Los Angeles, or are they?
Correct. The palm tree selection, whenever those palms are installed, they are for locations that wouldn't be able to fit like a larger canopy tree. So those palm trees that have been installed, it's to maximize on the space available whenever there's very little space for those palms. The palm trees we have approved, I can say they've been date palms for like aesthetics and keep consistency with what's already existing on certain segments.
No, my question was, are palm trees native to Southern California?
I don't believe they are. I mean, I can get back to you with that specific. I know we have a lot of palm trees here. They've been naturalized over the years. Yeah.
We have a lot of trees here. They're not all native. I mean, the date palms came from Arabia out in Palm Springs. They're not native out there either. But anyway, just you mentioned replanting with native species. I want to make sure that nobody's saying that palm trees are native. So that was my only question.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Any other questions or comments from the board members? All right, seeing none, is there a first and a second?
Second.
First by Commissioner Mitchell, seconded by President Pro Tem Grant.
So we have a first by Commissioner Mitchell and a second by President Pro Tem Grant. We will now take a vote. President Kang?
Aye.
Vice President Chavez?
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant?
Aye.
Commissioner Mitchell? And Commissioner Cardenas?
Aye.
All ayes, report is adopted and carries forthwith.
Thank you very much. Mr. Rodriguez, does that conclude our voting items for today?
Yes, it does.
Thank you very much. And as I mentioned earlier, one last time, item number 4 has been continued to January of 2026 to a date uncertain. And with that, we will conclude the meeting today. The next meeting will be on Friday, December 5th, 2025. The meeting is now adjourned at 11:56 a.m.
Was there a specific?
You guys, I'm super sorry to bother y'all. I really